Hello, what up my people, welcome back to my channel once again. So today I'm going to be dropping my trade recap from Monday to Friday. Yes, so the trade recap will be starting from Monday 11th August 2025 to Friday, yes, to Friday 15th August 2025. So I will be dropping 5 days trading recap. So let's start with Monday. Yes, let's start with Monday. So Monday gave us some opportunities, but my first trade for last week Monday was a loss. Already the moment I got that loss, my psychology was shaking already, and trust me, this particular loss cost me a lot. When I say this loss cost me a lot, it cost me a lot. Yeah, so let me start with the first trade I took on Monday. That's Monday 11th August 2025. So Asian session brought this particular market to this point. This is around 12:40. Okay, let me use this my track mouse. This is around 12:40 a.m. and this is around 2:05. That's 5 minutes after 2. Yes, that's Asian session. So as at the moment I saw all this run, my speculation for the market was actually bullish, but there is something I said in my last video. The ability for you to change your bias the moment you see a different movement, the ability for you to switch immediately is the power in trading. I will tell you this for facts, because it's not possible for you to always get your bias right every day, every fucking day. There must be manipulation around the market. There must be the whole ball game is a game of probability. So if it is a game of probability, that means that you can be wrong. Yes, you can be wrong, and you don't need to beat yourself down about it. You don't need to beat yourself down about it. So this is what happened here. I saw equal lows here. Liquidity, all of them did not tap into this particular long order block here. And what is my rules for long order blocks like this? I use fib level, and most of the time I use body candle to catch the trade. And irrespective, the market give us a little bit reaction to gather people into liquidity, to gather people to use for liquidity. Yes, I was part of the liquidity that very morning. Yeah, I am part of the liquidity, and that was what happened, and it actually resulted to an SL. If you notice, the time I want to enter this particular trade was a perfect timing. London session. I actually hold on for almost 5 minutes after 7 before I entered this market, and irrespective, the market took me out immediately. Not up to 15 minutes. SL hit, and that was how the first trade ended up in a loss. So for the second trade, let's see. So after I saw this run, immediately, like I said, inside my mind, psychologically, I've changed my bias. Before I was looking for buys, but the moment I saw that run breaking my psychological level, psychologically too, I've changed my bias that I am going bearish for today. And that was what happened. So I waited for, after the break of this particular psychological level, I waited for a lot of consolidations. Now, why did I take this trade? Resistance. There is a lot of rejections around this zone. And the moment I saw the tap of this particular resistance into this psychological level, because what I was looking at is, if this particular psychological level if this resistance is lying around this psychological level, what am I looking at? I'm looking at a retest of this level again. And the moment the market came, this is the resistance here, like making my my thing practical. This is the resistance here. You see? This is the resistance. If you want to see how I took this trade, you can go to my TikTok channel. My TikTok channel has how I started and how it ended, before and after. It has all those posts, so you can see all these trades that I'm showing you on my TikTok channel. So that was what happened here. Can you see, after the retest of this particular resistance, started giving us immediate reaction. So on this particular trade, we banked a 6:1 RR, a 6:1 RR. Yes. So, and if you look at when we entered this particular trade, we entered this trade at around 11:30 a.m. 11:30 a.m. getting to New York session. Yes, the other day I said something. I said, from my observation, seems like Asian session now moves better than London session. Someone argued with me on X, but I don't care. I don't care so far as I'm banking it on the Asian session, because last week Asian session paid me very well and it was very pleasant, very, very pleasant. So that was how we actually caught this particular trade, and it gave us straight to TP. Can you see, the moment it got to this particular psychological level, immediate reaction. So zone to zone trading would actually help you a lot to reduce the number of trades you take daily. Can you see, this particular day I only took 2 trades, and if there was a reason for me to take 3 trades, then that means I am going out of my rules, because this is 130 already, and this particular run too went to the next psychological level. That means it is a New York session movement. Can you see, this is the whole movement for New York session. And if you look at Asian session too, look at the move for Asian session. I just want you to have an idea of what I'm talking about. So look at the move for Asian session, and this Asian session, this is just 210, and it started from here 12:30. So within 2 hours broke psychological level, still broke the psychological level, went down half of that psychological level before it retraced back. But if you look at New York session, look at London session, broke this psychological level, came back inside the psychological level and continued consolidating. And New York session come carry and come out. New York session was the market that took it out of this psychological level. So that's why I said Asian session moves better than psychological level. Always take note, because why I always say this is that I always do my trade recaps, and anytime I'm doing my trade recaps, I have idea of markets that moved very well that particular week, and based on my observation, Asian session have been moving better than London session. Yes, so that is it for the second trade for Monday. We didn't take any other trade again till Tuesday. Hey God, I see that particular first SL cost me a lot. Cost me a lot, because trust me, why is this market not moving? Why is this market not moving? Why? Okay, so Tuesday, London session did not give us any clear setup. London session did not give us clear setup. At this point here, this is 11:40. Now, why did I take this? Why did I want to take this trade? Why did I saw this nice order block resting on my psychological level. I saw inducement did not mitigate the body candle. Can you see inducement lying around my psychological level? I saw the first tap. The first tap, I was supposed to enter the market. I know how gold works, so I waited for second tap, retest, and when it came for the retest, I entered immediately. And what did the market do? SL. Yes, now. Yes. So that is it. That is the first trade that I took that very day. That is the first trade that I took that very day. Resulted to an SL. And second trade. So now, this particular second trade, after I saw this huge candle rejection, on the 15 minutes time frame is an hammer rejection candle. On the 15 minutes time frame, after I saw this rejection, I saw the break too. Don't forget, it broke with the body candle. What was I expecting? A retest and move to the upside. Boom. Still gave me another SL. So on Tuesday already, I was going through two SLs immediately, 2% off my account already. 2% of my account. So, but after all of that, I knew that this market was just trying to trap people in after these two losses. I knew the consolidation was a trap for all sellers, all buyers. They are just trapping buyers into the market. So what I did was that when I saw this huge momentum of this candle, after I saw this huge momentum, what I was waiting for was a retest of this psychological level. Can you see? And that was what happened. The moment the market retraced back into this psychological level and it's going back, I used my buy stop. Immediately I entered the market and I exited at this point of the market. I exited here. So irrespective, the market gave us a 3:1 RR. So for Tuesday, this is our first TP. This one gave us a little bit hope that we are going to get our losses back. Already with this trade, I've made back my 2% that I lost. Already with this trade. With the Monday 1%, 3%, this trade has covered all my losses for this week already. So after those trades, we didn't take any other trade again. We waited for Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. So for this particular Wednesday, what happened here was very simple. Very, very simple. And the rules are not much, but what happened here is very simple. Okay, so what I saw here was that if you notice here, we have a fib level here that I drew from beginning, and that fib level, I started that fib level. Let me do that newly so that we have idea. I marked the top of this particular candle to the bottom of this candle because this particular buys is what created this whole structure. These buys, so that is why I'm using it as my swing low. Sorry, this low. That is why I'm using it as my swing low. And this highs was what created this particular consolidation. That's why I'm using this particular high too. So what now happened? I think I'm supposed to use this low. So what now happened? You will notice that my 0.5 level is lying on my psychological level. And if you notice, you see liquidity lying around this particular 0.5. That was the confluence I saw. After I saw this confluence, I was looking for one more reason for me to actually be in that trade. One more reason. That was when I saw this OCL close to this psychological level. From beginning, I noticed this particular OCL. That would be my entry. That would have been my entry. But when I saw this OCL, it gave me more energy to hold on to this particular trade. Almost at my SL, but did not tap into my SL because I saw this OCL and it gave me more energy that, okay, yes, this particular market is going to move for this particular reason. And boom, we caught a 3:1 RR. And what time did we enter this market? We entered at around New York session, 20 minutes after 1. So that's how we actually smashed that particular trade. Yes, so let's move to the next one. This particular trade, I didn't take this trade. Yes, I did not take this trade. Hindsight, this is just an hindsight. I didn't take this trade. Now, why didn't I take this trade? Because I wasn't on seat, and it was not pleasant. It wasn't pleasant. But when I was looking at the structure, it gave me a nice structure. This is an A+ setup. Nice structure. Okay, let's count our rows. We have a support here already. This particular support here. And if you look at breakup structure first, let's even say this is our breakup structure because it has to close with the body candle. This is our breakup structure. Now, our second rule is, do we have a support, other block, or maybe an OCL? Yes, we have an OCL. This is an OCL. And this particular OCL, I will call it my support because it has liquidity at the top here, and it has also already this particular buys has already broken this structure already. You get? Now this particular pullback did not mitigate this support level. The pullback did not mitigate this support level. Now that means it's now our liquidity. Always remember, any first pullback that you see is always probably your liquidity or inducement. Yes. So after this pullback, I saw this liquidity. Good and fine. So what I was waiting for was the tap of this particular support, and we are bullish that very day. And what happened? I wasn't able to take this trade, but the trade played out very smooth. Give us an 11:1 RR. Little to no drawdown. No drawdown at all. And boom, we actually smashed. The trade actually played out. I didn't take this trade like I said. Now, this particular sell that I actually anticipated was a 1 hour it was a 1 hour analysis. I analyzed it on the 1 hour. So let's look at why we took it on the 1 hour. Let's look at it. Well, yeah. Let's look at on the 1 hour. Why did we take that trade? Okay, OCL equal highs. Is it on the 1 hour? Let's look at the 15 minutes. That's why sometimes when I'm done with my trades, I like just doing them immediately. Okay, it's on the 15 minutes time frame. It's on the 15 minutes time frame, and I'll be explaining why I took this trade. Very nice setup. That is, if you know how to trade, you understand why I say it is a nice setup. So now I will explain why I took this sell. Can you see this particular sell here? I will explain why I took it. Now I have the setup of double engulfing rules. This is my first double engulfing. Immediate buy and an immediate sell with big wicks. I don't care about the wicks. This second one, immediate buy and an immediate sell with big wicks. I don't care about the wicks. I only care about the body candle. Now, if you look at these two trades, did not mitigate this resistance level. You see this particular trade. It is a rules, or it is something that I actually realized, or it is something that I saw on my own while back testing. And this particular setup works so much that if you go to my TikTok page, you're going to see a lot of setups like this. So what I did was, this is my first resistance and this is my second resistance, and the two of them did not tap into this level. That's why I called it an equal highs. So what I was expecting was that this resistance was going to push the market back down to this particular level, because we also have a liquidity here around this psychological level before we see enough buys. But what happened? The market did not respect this particular resistance. Even with the equal high, it did not respect the resistance. So that was what resulted to this particular SL here. So after resulting to this SL, what I was waiting for was that, okay, if this particular trade resulted to an SL, do we have an opportunity for buys? Yes, on the 15 minutes time frame, we have opportunity for buys. So now, what I will call this is my resistance. Can you see? This particular line is my resistance. So since it broke this particular resistance, what are we looking at? The retest of the resistance, isn't it? So now, let's go to the line charts. So that you understand what I'm saying. If this is a resistance, can you see, give us a little reaction. If this is a resistance, After it broke this particular resistance, what are we waiting for, or what are we looking at? For it to come back, we tap into this particular resistance and continue buying back. Yes, since that is what we are looking at, I am also looking at liquidity. Now, how do I know where liquidity lies around this place? I am looking for an OCL that has not been mitigated. An OCL that has not been mitigated. That was how I actually came across this particular OCL. Can you see? This particular candle did not mitigate the OCL. This candle did not mitigate the OCL. Can you see? So I knew that my liquidity is around this particular level, and I drew my 15-minute OCL and I kept my buy limit, and boom, the market came, tapped into this OCL, took out these liquidities and started giving us immediate reaction, and that was how we got a 5:1 RR on the 15 minutes time frame. And this was Wednesday trade. This was a Wednesday trade. And let's go back to our 5 minutes time frame. And that was how we caught those trades on Wednesday. And on that same Wednesday, because these are all London session trades. That very Wednesday, like I said, we didn't take this particular trade. So I'm not counting it together. I'm only counting this trade. So that very day, I was waiting for also a break of this level, tap into this particular order block. This order block was the reason why I entered this market. Trust me, that was the reason. I didn't really have a good confluence for this particular trade, but this loan order block gave me some kind of authenticity on the trade. But irrespective, gave me a little bit reaction. I was expecting it to break this psychological level, but couldn't break the psychological level, and gave us an SL immediately. So after I saw all of this, what do they call it? After I saw all of this price action, what I was waiting for is, since this particular order block failed, this is supposed to hold. Yes. After this, now I knew that this was an inducement. After this particular market induced us into the market, I knew that this particular one is going to rally the trade. So what I was looking at is my target was this particular resistance here. That was my target. Yes. And my entry was on this particular order block here. My entry was on the order block, and what happened? Immediately the market came, tapped into this particular order block and gave us immediate 4:1 RR. So now let's count our rules. Break of structure, isn't it? Order block, second rule. Inducement, liquidity, third rules, and my entry, fourth rule. Don't forget, I also have an extra confluence of my resistance level coming back to get tapped again. After the tap here, it came back to retap this particular resistance level again, and I was out of the market at this point. Yes, that very day I knew the market was still bullish. So what I was looking at is, I saw a fake engineered liquidity here. For me, that very time I saw it as a nice liquidity, but I knew it was an inducement. It was a fake liquidity, and I saw a clear body candle here that hasn't been mitigated. That is the reason why I took this trade. Anytime you see that I didn't count my rules, it means that is a continuation entry. You see, this particular entry now is not a continuation entry. Is a loan entry, first entry. That means sorry. Any entry that starts from your psychological level, I want to make this very clear. Any entry that starts from your psychological level is a beginning of a trend. Yes, that is my rules. any entry that starts from this particular place is the beginning of a trend, and any entry that is above of this particular trade is a continuation entry. So this is a beginning of a trend for me, and this particular entry is a continuation entry. If you notice, I didn't enter with order block, I entered with an OCL. Most of the time, continuation strategy, you enter with an OCL. Yes, so this is a continuation entry. And also, if you look at this, it's supposed to be a continuation entry also, but it is an inducement that actually took us out. This is also a continuation entry, yes, because it's not close to my psychological level. It's a continuation of this particular trend to this particular trend. So irrespective, I am not really counting all my rules, but if you look at this trade, it's meant to be counted, because this is perfectly an SMC trade. Perfectly, because if you look at break of structure, order block, inducement, and entry. Now, what makes it an SMC? The fact that when it was coming to that POI, it consolidated a lot before it got to this POI. That is what makes it a clear advanced SMC setup. Very simple. Very, very simple. So that was how I actually lost this trade also, because I was looking at continuation of that particular trend and it resulted to an SL. So coming to Thursday, on Thursday I had 2 consecutive losses. This week was very, very bloody for every trader. I am expecting a lot of traders to come outside and say they didn't hit SL. This week was very consolidating for everybody. I might not say for everybody, but for me, it was very consolidating for me, and it wasn't pleasant at all. It wasn't. Yeah. So what I was looking at here was also the same kind of setup. Okay, let's look at the 15 minutes time frame to see a clear order block, or we look at the 1 hour time frame to see a clear order block to know the reason why we took that trade. Still no. Let's look at the 30 minutes time frame. I want to know the reason why we took that trade. Okay, so I think that particular trade is a break and retest trade, but I can't really figure out why I took that trade. I can't really figure out, but me not figuring out why I took that trade is because most of the time, because this is the trade here, and on the 15 minutes time frame there wasn't any clear order block, but for me to see this, I knew I saw all this liquidity lying around here. That was why I took that trade. But trust me, on Thursday, my first trade that I took resulted to an SL. Now, this particular second trade was what annoyed me so much that I can't believe I made this kind of mistake. Fear of missing out. I couldn't believe I made this mistake of fear of missing out. So now let me explain what happened here. We'll go to the 15 minutes time frame so that I can explain better. Very funny. What happened here was very, very funny. And why I'm documenting this is that I don't want to make this kind of mistake again. Yes, the market went my way at the end of the day, but the time that I actually entered that market, it was a very, very wrong timing. So see what happened. I saw the break of this particular low here. After I saw the break of this low, on a normal day, if I'm on the 5 minutes time frame, I'm not going to take this trade. If I am on the 5 minutes time frame, I'm not going to take this trade. But luckily enough, that day I was on the 15 minutes time frame. So after I saw the break of this low, let me put it on the line chart so that you have idea of what I'm saying. Can you see this low? after I saw the broke of this low, what I was expecting, because I was on the 15 minutes time frame, was that the test of the particular break and started coming down. Boom. Boom. But when I saw that, instead of me to go to the 15 minutes time to the 5 minutes time frame to confirm why I am taking that trade, I didn't go to the 5 minutes time frame. I went to the 15 minutes time frame straight. And what happened? It tapped into that particular level and started giving me immediate reaction. I was so proud of myself. I was so proud of myself until I went back to the 5 minutes time frame and I saw a clear setup. That was a trap. I didn't believe that I fell for that particular trap. I can't believe I fell for that trap. But irrespective, that is the game of probability. So now what happened here? On the 5 minutes time frame, what happened was that we had a long rejection. We had a long run. Can you see? A long run. This is a London session. After this long run, the psychological level couldn't hold the run, rejected. What was I supposed to do? Based on my psychological level? After the rejection of that particular level, I'm supposed to wait for a retest. Can you see? Retest, and I should be out of the market by this particular point. Can you see? This was my problem that very day, because already this loss was clouding me already, together with this particular second loss again. God, it was another different thing. So that was how I actually caught. That was how I caught 2 SLs. But normally, without FOMO, I'm supposed to actually bank this trade. I am supposed to bank this trade. Yes. So what I learned on this particular trade is that even if you see a clear setup on the 15 minutes time frame, always go back to one time lower than your 15 minutes, maybe a time lower, maybe after the 15 minutes time frame, go to your 5 minutes time frame. You don't need to go to one minute. Just go to your 5 minutes time frame to confirm that particular entry. So that was what happened on Thursday. I didn't take this trade. This was the main trade, and it resulted to an SL. So that is it for Thursday. Going to Friday. Friday to Consolidated. I didn't know that Alaska was going to happen. I didn't know that Alaska Summit was happening. That's why we had a lot of consolidation. Okay, so these are the 2 trades that I actually scalped that very day. Quick scalp. Very, very quick scalp. And I was able to close in profit. Explaining these particular trades would not do anything because it is a scalp trade. I actually scalped those trades, and that is it for this particular week. So let's count our setups. Let's count our trade. Okay, so sorry. Now, this particular trade is a Monday trade. Why did I enter this trade? I had my previous day low, Friday low. This Friday low here. This is Friday low. So what I was waiting for was a break of this particular Friday low. Turtle soup was a break of this Friday low, and what I waited for was the momentum. After it broke this particular level, I wait for the retracement in it, and I enter this particular trade. That is how I caught this trade. Okay, so now let's count our trades. I'm not going to add these Friday trades because they are all 1 minute scalp. So I'm not adding them to my weekly recap. So let's count our TPs and our SLs. So the first one, SL 1, TP 11, SL 31, TP 32, 1 TP 33. This is not, I won't count this because I didn't take this trade. I did not take this trade. When I came back to the market and I saw it, that was when I felt I should just draw it. So, but let me take it out. Now we are going back. 1 SL, 1 TP, 1 1, this 3-1 plus this 3-2 plus this 3-3 plus this SL 4-3 plus this TP 4-3 4-4 plus this SL 5-4 plus this 5-5 plus this 6 SL 5 TPs 7 SLs 5 TPs 8 SL 5 TPs. But you see, one thing about trading is that it's a numbers game. Trading is a numbers game. Even with 8 SLs 5 TP, I still closed last week with over 6% profit, even with these losses, because I always make sure that my winnings are very, 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 very better than my losses. When I say very better, is that I lose responsibly. Yes, I lose responsibly. Anytime I see loss, I make sure I cut my loss early. And anytime I'm seeing a winning trade, I make sure that I allow that winning to run very well. That is what will give you the numbers game. That is what they call numbers game in trading. Lose wisely and allow your winnings to run better. So that is it for this particular week, guys, and thanks for watching my trade recap, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace out.